Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your girl, Sharita, the Behavior and Literacy Strategist, coming at you from the Morgan Unlimited Growth Institute, where you can find solutions for both your child's behavior and literacy challenges. I have a quick one I'm going to do because I have a meeting in about 12 minutes, but I want to get on you because I want to talk to you about what students are saying, what my students are saying about test anxiety. Now, of course, the terminology when I was talking to them was in test anxiety. I just asked them, how do you feel when it's time to take a test? Okay, because now they're taking tests now in New Jersey, where we are. It's around the time when they're taking their tests in school, right? They're getting tested. And I just asked them these questions. I listened to them. And the reason why I do this is because I'm working with them on improving their testing performance, okay? And in order to do that, again, strategies is one thing, but their mindsets, what they're thinking about when it's time for them to sit down and take a test is just as, if not more, important. As a matter of fact, if a child has the right mindset and they feel confident about taking the test, they can power through even when they don't know the answer and they're not sure. Do you understand? So it's very important. And what I got from my students today, and I was talking to them, was they were saying that when it's time to take a test, I feel nervous. I feel nervous, and then I get frustrated and I get mad because I don't know the answers. And one of the students was saying, I don't know the stuff that's on this test. If you would give me, this is what he was thinking, if you would give me questions that I already know, then I would do good, right? So picture this. Student could be in class and they'll be studying or learning as they're participating in class, reading, answering questions, and they may have a little bit of confidence there, interact, especially now with the remote learning. A lot of this stuff is interactive, where the teacher is working with you, working with the class over the screen. It's not a lot of they're by themselves and they have to do work. They don't do a lot of writing as they would, because there's no way for the teacher to see their work all the time, right? So they got a little bit of confidence, but then when it's time to take a test, this stuff is unfamiliar, especially if the child is reading below grade level, functioning below grade level, right? When it's time for them to take a test, they feel like a fish out of water. Like, I don't know this stuff, okay? And that's when they say they get nervous. Now, if that happens enough times, kids can develop test anxiety. So any test that they come across, even if they know the stuff, right? They may still react the same way. They may still get nervous. They may still get frustrated and angry, right? It may do things to get out of doing the test before they even thoroughly read through it and understood what they were up against, okay? And that's where some behaviors come into play with them fidgeting. My student said, that's when I start itching, right? He said he starts itching. Hi, Naja. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining. Talking about kids, what they're saying about test anxiety. Because I ask kids, I talk to them, and whenever I'm helping them improve in a certain area with their literacy and with their behavior, I have discussions with them about it, what their experience is, what their challenges are. And then I ask them the question, which I did today with my students after they told me how they felt. What do you think needs to happen for you to not feel nervous when it's time to take a test? Because I want my students to think. And I want them to be involved in the goal setting and achievement process, in their own growth, okay? So after them telling me, he told me that they were nervous, angry, frustrated, because they feel like, I don't know this stuff. I know some stuff in class. Why don't you give me that stuff that I know? You know what I mean? But this, I just don't know. So what does that do? That says that they kind of feel set up for failure. And they also said that I'm scared of doing a test and getting them wrong, getting the answers wrong. Okay? So imagine that. Students sitting down, it's time for them to take a test. They already have bad experience with test taking. They look at the material. They don't feel comfortable with the material. And I don't mean the everyday test you on what we learned this week. I'm talking about the tests, the administrate that they have to do, that the whole school is doing, the whole state is doing, those kind of tests. These kids are very nervous about these tests. And when they sit down, every question is a big deal to them. If they look at the test and they don't feel like they can do it, they don't feel like this material is something that's familiar to them, right? Then they feel like each question, and this is what my students are telling them, I'm afraid of getting the answer wrong. And they do this with every question. This next one, I may get this next one wrong. I may get this next one wrong. I may get this next one wrong. And this is what they're thinking at the time. Okay? So the next question, they don't know if they're going to get it wrong or not, but they're already anticipating and worried that they might. And let me ask you a question. How can they perform well if they are worried about that every single step of the way? Okay? All students are different. But for students who have focus challenges and also are reading far below their grade level, it's really a big challenge for them. Because these are students I'm talking to y'all about that don't read questions and answers on their own. Don't read passages on their own. Or if they do read them, they can't, their fluency is not there. They can't read every word. They have trouble with multisyllabic words. They're having difficulties in these areas. So when they sit down and take a test, their anxiety is on high. And when these behaviors come out, I've witnessed kids, shouting, throwing a tantrum in class, or picking a fight with a kid next to them, arguing with the teacher, different things. And when you notice the patterns, when you pay attention, it's all around a time when they have to do some work that's challenging for them, or when it's time to take a test. Because this test makes them feel so uncomfortable, so nervous, and they're afraid of failure. Okay? So here's the question for moms at home, right? How do we flip it? How do we change it for our kids? If they're not reading on grade level, if they're functioning below grade level and they are not used to getting really good grades, I can just about guarantee you that they are feeling this way when it's time to take a test. So what can we do? 2 things, okay? One is we have to equip them to be able to take a test, right? And one main thing they need to do is they need to be able to read the test on their own. They need to be able to read the questions, be able to read the passages on their own, right? And be able to read, if it's a multiple choice question, be able to read the directions, be able to read the question, be able to read A, B, C, and D, and thoroughly understand and connect with the work. And that takes work. In my program, we focus on that for them to thoroughly connect with the text before they even proceed on to the question and answer piece. Okay? So by the time they get to the question and answer piece, the answers are easy for them because they thoroughly connected with the text. How do we do that? We work together on that text, and I coach them. I don't read for them. I coach them until they can read it on their own, and we have discussions about the text along the way, to something that they feel so good about and so connected to, that by the time they get to question and answer, they are ready. But they have to also learn, moms, how to read the question and answer page, the multiple choices, the open-ended questions, all that stuff, directions on their own, and to not proceed with answering the questions until they can read it all on their own. And this is what I work with my students on. And when they can read it all on their own, moms, we step back, because now they are fully equipped to take this test. So that will definitely help our kids be able to feel confident when it's time for them to take a test, because they know how to read the passage. They know what to look for, pay attention to in the passage. They know at the end of the passage they're not going to be confused, like, I don't know what I just read, right? And then the same thing when it comes to them doing their work. If your child needs you next to them, when they're doing their homework, when they're reading their passage. They got about 1 minute left. If they need you next to them to help them read things, or they read it and they just don't understand it afterwards, right? They don't know what they read, then they are not connected with the text, the passage, the story. If they're not connected with that, then there's no way they're going to be connected with and be successful with answering the questions. These are things that we can do at home. You can go to my favorite worksheet website, www.superteacherworksheets.com, and practice this with them so that this becomes second nature. If your child is reading far below grade level, it's easier said than done. They need multiple strategies. They need to fill up those holes in their literacy foundation that they missed or forgot, right? So that they can function and be able to read what they need to read on grade level and stuff. But definitely do that and practice that over and over and over again. We want our kids to get in the classroom, and no matter what is thrown at them, okay, they can meet it head on. They can take on this challenge. They can handle it, okay? And I know we complain about the over testing in schools, but I'm the type of mom that's like, well, how do we do this, moms? How do we fix this problem? So if we feel like our kids are being tested a lot, then we work on with our kids so that they feel comfortable and confident when it's time to take a test. And we work with them from home. Okay, so no matter how many tests our kids have, and no matter how much work it is, our kids are ready. When we do that, we make it like a routine for them, we equip them, then they won't be feeling this test anxiety. Okay? And another good thing is, I'm going to squeeze in one more thing, y'all, and then I got to go. Another thing is, after they have completed that process that I just told you about, having them be able to review their own work. They have to see, this is a big reason why kids get so upset when it's time to take a test, because they feel like they don't know it. They feel like they're getting the answers wrong. And then afterwards, that's it. So, and then maybe if it's an in-class test, they'll see their score later. Or if it's not, they just don't know what they got. No connection with the whole process, right? But when we do it at home, moms, we can help them through that process I just told you. And then afterwards, we can review so they can see what they got right. And they ain't going to want to get every last one of them right. So we got to help them if they don't, right? We got to support them. But then say, okay, let's look at it. And let's figure out what we got, where we went wrong. But let them figure it out. Read it and figure out exactly what they need to do so that they can get it right this time. So giving our children a chance to review, and if they got it wrong, make it right, okay? Helps them grow in that process. And those things combined, y'all, will help them with this test anxiety. This is coming from our kids. They're telling us that they're having difficulties with this thing. Okay? That's my next appointment, y'all. So I gotta go. Thank you so much. Hey, sis, Miss Givens. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Believe in yourself, believe in your child, and always remember to go through unlimited peace.